is going on, guys? Zombie Wars here, and welcome back again to another video. Today we got some new DBD news related to Dead by Daylight x FNAF. It's actually an update of a Discord Q&A from a few days ago. We have an official summary from the Discord server itself that lists everything that was held in the interview. Previously, we were going off of second-hand accounts and retellings of the Q&A, but this comes directly from the server itself. It appears to come from a person named Afton, which is the server owner of the server the Q&A was hosted on. So guys, before this video begins, be sure to leave a like on today's video, as well as subscribe to the channel if you are new. The channel has been growing so fast lately, especially with all the FNAF news in DBD. I've covered most of the topics that were in this summary in a previous video. If you want to go check that out, I'll leave a link or something or a card. But there was actually some clarifications that I thought were really huge. So the first thing that I thought was pretty important is lore related to Glitchtrap in DBD. There was actually a question about whether Glitchtrap was canonically the same as the version from Help Wanted, and it was clarified that he's not the original, but a copy created by the entity, a copy made of flesh. This has been a debate going on if Glitchtrap is the same Glitchtrap from Help Wanted, but he was just given flesh, or if it was just an entirely entity creation. And it seems like we have confirmation that the Glitchtrap in DBD is not the Glitchtrap we've seen in Help Wanted. By extension, this also means that the Mimic is not in the entity's realm in any way or form so far as it stands, as Glitchtrap was an extension of the Mimic. But if the Glitchtrap in DBD is an entirely entity creation, that means the Mimic is not in the realm at all, which is important for a later point. Of course, I already covered this previously, but we got information regarding Springtrap getting more skins. I covered this already in the previous video, but there's some misinformation going around about this. There was a rumor going around that we're getting a blighted Springtrap skin, and that's not confirmed in any way or form. It was heavily implied, but as it stands, there's no confirmation that is the case. That being said, it's very likely we will be getting a blighted Springtrap, as we tend to get licensed blight skins for almost every killer that releases. What is confirmed is that we are getting multiple skins for Springtrap that are not yet in the game, so that is interesting nonetheless. Scott Cawthon was confirmed to be more involved than most people that Behavior has worked with from start to finish, personally approving every visual writing decision. This includes details like Springtrap's missing torso color, button, and Freddy's red bow tie. I know a lot of people, when Springtrap's model was revealed, were disappointed that there were some changes made from the original FNAF 3 model, and it seems like this just confirms that it was an artistic interpretation of Springtrap. I'm not sure if this is how Scott canonically wants Springtrap to be interpreted going forward, or if it's just specifically for Dead by Daylight, but it is interesting that they purposely left off details of Springtrap. But yeah, I thought that was a little interesting piece of knowledge that, you know, Scott personally approved them removing aspects of Springtrap's appearance. So this was another big piece that was revealed in this Q&A. Foxy, although absent in all forms except for a plushie, has not been forgotten. The team reiterated that everything has a reason. A lot of people posting about this did not put it in the part that the team reiterated that everything has a reason. This to me is just clear confirmation that we are getting something related to Foxy. I don't think he's going to be a killer, but I do think he is going to be a skin. I don't know if it's going to be for the blight, but I do think he is going to get a skin nonetheless. It seems like they intentionally left out Foxy, and later on in the interview, the devs actually stated that Foxy is one of their favorite animatronics. So to me, it does sound like they're reserving something special for Foxy. And I think the statement that the team reiterated that everything has a reason just solidifies that. Having a fan favorite animatronic and then just not including him in any way or form on the map aside from a plushie is a little odd to me. So again, I think he is going to be a skin, and I think that little statement that they have a reason for it solidifies that for me. So this was actually a new explanation for the reason why there wasn't a FNAF survivor. I feel like we've gotten like several different reasonings, but we have a new one now. A survivor wasn't added because Behavior wanted the experience to feel like you were the player from the original FNAF games. Your survivor choice is who you are. The idea of possibly adding Josh Hutcherson as Mike Schmidt was brought up as something that could happen in the future, though nothing is currently planned or confirmed. Alright, I have a few things I have to say about this. I don't exactly understand that logic that the original FNAF games is you, because you are canonically playing as established characters in the series. So I'm a little confused on what they mean by that. I'm just gonna say it, I really wish there was a survivor with this chapter. I really have not been a fan of any of the reasonings they've given. That's just my personal opinion. I respect all the work the devs do, but I do really feel like the lack of a survivor with this chapter was a genuine disappointment. Again, I love Springtrap, I love the FNAF chapter, but I really did wish we got Michael Afton in this chapter. We got an update on the Yellow Rabbit mask. I know a lot of people were talking about if the Yellow Rabbit will get a mask or not. There was an interview from a while ago where it was stated that they were looking into ways they can include it. In this Q&A, they said there were also talks about the Yellow Rabbit variant with the mask. While it's something they would like to do, technical limitations such as how licensed skins are currently locked, customization-wise, means that it would require some adjustments or overhauls if it's even considered. So that may likely not happen. So this to me reads that we're probably not going to get a mask for the Yellow Rabbit, which I am not surprised by. I do like my white man jump scare. I do think it is really funny, but I think that Yellow Rabbit is so cool looking, and I hope that if they're not going to add a mask for him, they at least add in a Spring Bonnie skin based on William Afton's murders. I think the Spring Bonnie from the FNAF movie goes so hard. It's one of my favorite looks for this character, but I do hope they can find some way for it to work. I am wondering if it would be easier to implement something like this with FNAF, considering they would only have to go to Scott for these changes. It's not like they'd have to go with tons and tons of people to implement something, as Scott is the sole owner of Five Nights at Freddy's. But I'm sure if they want to do something like this, they would like to have some sort of system in place so they can do the same thing with other IPs. I'm really hopeful that something like this will happen, but I don't think it will be anytime soon. When talking about the possibility of other FNAF-inspired maps like Fazbear Frights, the team said they're really happy with the one they've created. While the original FNAF game and movies served as inspiration, the final design is meant to be the entity's interpretation of that world. One developer said they would love to see an extract of the FNAF Pizzaplex as the next FNAF DBD map. Now, this to me sounds like they're not really interested in doing a second DBD FNAF map. Typically don't get two maps when it comes to one IP. However, I noticed that they didn't just outright say we're not doing a second map, so it doesn't seem like there's some solid rule that says there can't be more than one map for one IP. I think FNAF is an IP that has a lot of locations. They can definitely do a second map for a second chapter, I think. I would hope that if they did a second chapter, it would be some location that's radically different from the one we got. I think the two that would fit that would be either the Pizzaplex or the Murray Costume Factory. I think both of those are radically different from Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. If you're gonna do a second map, you don't want it to be too similar to the one that you already did. So I think those would be the two choices it would do for them. And it seems like the devs aren't completely writing off the idea of us getting a second map, which is kind of cool. I just kind of assumed this whole time that there was some rule that only one map per IP. Another question came up was asking the team who would be chosen as the killer if not Springtrap. The team agreed that it would be the Mimic. I think the fact that the Mimic is the second in line to becoming a killer in the DBD just outright confirms that if we do get a second chapter, it will be on the Mimic. I literally just made a video that was debating between Ennard and the Mimic. Timing is absolutely impeccable. I didn't know they were outright talking about the Mimic in DBD. By extension, they were also asked if they would want to do another FNAF chapter and introduce the Mimic. They obviously couldn't confirm anything, but they said they would absolutely love to, and it's very likely to happen. So it seems like we said earlier, everything comes down to if Scott wants to do it. So I think this just is confirmation that if we are getting a second FNAF chapter, it's going to be the Secret of the Mimic. I don't think there's any more room for speculating on what the second chapter could be. I think it's just going to be the Secret of the Mimic. However, I'm curious if they do the Secret of the Mimic chapter, I'm wondering if they would include a survivor and bring in Michael Afton that way. I really wish Michael came with Springtrap, but, you know, better late than never. But that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to go over this update because this was a clarified version of the Q&A. It kind of removed some telephone aspects of what was being said. This comes straight from the server directly. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. New to my channel, subscribe. I'll see you next video. Have a great day, and peace.